Town Square Media is proud to present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, J-Bird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City sports talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the dawn. Good afternoon, Quad Cities. It is Monday, September 13th, 2021. We are here in the Hassle Castle.
Well, Jay, I'd like to wish a good morning to the Bears fans who are just waking up after they got absolutely trashed.
Well, was it a trash? I don't know about
that.
No,
the fans. They probably drank themselves silly after that Sunday Night Football performance.
I don't blame them. Let's see here. It wasn't too bad.
Wasn't too good.
They played better than the Packers did.
There you go. You can take solace in that fact.
Yeah, obviously, we got a lot to deal with it, to talk about there. September 13th, by the way, I need to say happy anniversary to Ryan and Haley Delph. They've been married, I don't know how many years now. I believe 8 years now. But, the first wedding I ever officiated. So.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm ordained, but I don't know what to tell you, so.
Awesome. Well, you seem good luck. They got past the 7-year itch.
That's right, yeah. So, I want to say that to them. All right, cold question, guys. You're at a bar tonight watching Monday Night Football. Ravens in the Raiders.
Yeah.
All right? You have two choices. ESPN and their regular staff, who I don't even know is calling it, or ESPN2, the Manning brothers. Who are you listening to?
Manning brother. Come on.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on. Peyton's hilarious. I'll never forget his SNL hosting gig.
Sure.
With the skit where he's pegging the kids with the dodgeball.
Yeah, it's the United Way.
Boom, boom, boom. That's awesome.
Hot Rod.
It's one of my favorites.
You know what a Hot Rod is?
It's one of my favorites. Maybe the best SNL skit featuring a professional athlete. Uh-huh. It's great.
It's a really good one, yeah. He's giving back or whatever else. He goes, you guys want to come over afterwards? They're like, yeah. He's like, whatever. Kid, you're not coming over. Kids don't know SHIT. It just gets good. The little thing, he has one kid run up like, mommy. He goes, oh, no, that's not mommy. Mommy's dead. How you doing? I'm Peyton.
My favorite is that, you remember the I think it was a Tide commercial or something that he was in, and it's like he puts on the shirt and it's way too small, and he's like, oh, don't worry, you put on some weight, just buy bigger shirts.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
So this is what I understand from what I heard from Peyton say, and I know we talked about this last week a little bit. I did with Adrian. They're not going to be in studio per se. They're not going to be in a booth.
Okay, where are they going to be?
They're going to be on Zoom.
Oh, God. Peyton is going to roast Eli left and right. It's going to be amazing. But you know what? Eli can give it a little bit too. He gets this reputation as this dopey dude, but that's his shield of armor. He's got some quips as well. He's going to fire it back at Peyton. I'm excited.
So apparently, now have you ever seen the College Knowledge Bowl or whatever else that Peyton hosted?
No.
He did it with Koopa, the oldest, and it's really scripted out, really bad, the jokes. It's if one of the things was this rapper, but the answer was Ice Cube.
Okay.
And then he says to Koopa, he's like, what's your favorite Ice Cube song? And he's like, Ice Ice Baby, of course. And he's like, kids, we're going to be here all day. And I was like, ugh. But this is supposed to be really good. All right, so supposedly, now they might be in booth, but he said they didn't want to do it because, Eli coaches his daughter's lacrosse team. And he doesn't want to be leaving the tournaments
big
on a
lacrosse
Sunday.
Guy?
I guess.
That's weird.
He doesn't want to be flying across town, and Peyton doesn't either. And Peyton's he'll probably be doing it from his house. I might be doing it from a buddy's garage.
Is lacrosse big down in New Orleans?
In the East. No, Eli still lives up there. He works for New
I know, but that's where Eli grew up. So was
his
he
daughter's playing it.
Was he a lacrosse player growing up?
No,
down
not
in
at all. I don't think so.
He just all right.
Maybe he just does the physical training for him, or he's strength and conditioning coach for him. I have no idea.
Weird.
But so he said, and this is what Peyton said. He's like, it's going to be two guys
in a bar just talking to each other.
That's what I like.
They're going to bring in some celebrities.
Sounds like a show that I know that broadcasts here from the Quad Cities.
Exactly. That's why it's going to be a hit. And he says that they're going to have, like I said, they'll have some celebrities. A lot of talk of like, okay, Eli, what's the coach saying in the quarterback's ear right now?
Yeah, it's Romo-esque.
They're playing he doesn't want to do the Romo thing. He wants it to be like take him more behind the scenes. Like, you play coach, I'll play quarterback. I'll tell you what I'm seeing. The coach says, okay, if you're seeing this, do X, Y, and Z.
And you said that's on ESPN2?
ESPN2.
I'm watching.
Only 10 weeks out of the 18 weeks or whatever.
I'm watching, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. But he doesn't want to do the thing where, like, Romo, because Romo's so good.
Yeah. Predictive plays and stuff. Why do I just picture Eli, just the mouth breather, just breathing into the mic the whole time?
I think he plays possum, man. I think Eli's actually super smart.
I don't know.
Last season, Monday Night Football averaged more than 12 million viewers a week.
That seems like a lot.
ESPN expects the Mannings to increase the audience to something by 3 to 5% more.
It's great.
Absolutely. So I mean, it's a no-brainer, to put them on and to listen to it or whatever. I mean, if that's your thing. I mean, we all listen to football or whatever else. But I mean, or do you guys listen to the games, or do you guys have other things going on?
No, I keep the commentary on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kevin Harlan was,
Monday nights are bowling night, so I don't get to listen to Monday Night Football.
Oh, gotcha. You're going to tell the league, hey, everyone, shut up. The Mannings are talking. Hey, don't throw that ball so hard.
What are you doing?
Yeah. No, it should be a good one. All right, the weekend. Jeez, what a recap. Way to go. Well, gambling-wise, I think we'll get to the lumps that some people were taking. But there was some things that you can take still on if you were smart enough to bet on the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Oh, I was, Jay.
Yep.
Same.
Heck yeah.
That was free money.
It seemed like it, yeah. Wow. Where do we go with this?
So they kind of whoop some ass.
Yeah.
I think that's where we can go. That's our deep analysis.
Hankins has 2 interceptions. That's his 4th and 5th of his career. Goodson looked fine. There was obviously there's going to be some questions all week long about Petrus taking sacks when he doesn't, when he really can't take sacks. Third downs here and there, but the defense is just so incredible. Are we sure that he benched Purdy and Breece Hall? I mean, did it just look like, and everyone just went crazy on Twitter to be like, so he's gone from Heisman great to now he's benched? I don't know if he was hurt or anything like that. I don't know if we got.
I think his feelings were hurt.
We definitely know his feelings were hurt. There was a lot of Iowa State fans whose feelings were hurt. They left as they left at the end of the third quarter.
Maybe he was just taking a mental health day.
Mm-hmm. Boy, it was something else though. Big win there. Meanwhile, earlier in the day, Ohio State is just getting worked by Oregon.
Oh, that was you love to see it.
I didn't mind it at all.
That was great as well. What a man.
14.5 points. I saw that line and I was like, are you kidding me? This Oregon team is for real. They just beaten a really good Fresno State team the week before, only by a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I did not. I kind of saw that coming. I didn't think they'd win straight out. But
I paused. I was a bit concerned because Thibodeau wasn't playing. Star defensive end, and I think that's when I saw he was out, I was like, okay, they might be able to do it. And you didn't expect them to struggle 2 weeks in a row, just due to the nature of that program and the history of that program. You expected them to get things ironed out, get things figured out ahead of a pivotal week 2 game, but they did not, and they didn't look good. And Stroud doesn't look like he's ready to go.
He's inaccurate at times. He missed wide open, and he's missing badly, too.
And, I mean, he's got to take his lumps, but, woof.
He still threw for 484 yards,
but
he was 35 for 54.
Exactly.
So puts him at about 67%.
And he crumbles in big moments, which he's young. He's a young kid. Mm-hmm. He'll learn. He'll grow, you think. But
he doesn't look comfortable outside of the pocket. Like, when he's scrambling, he just looks like he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, it's interesting. But, I mean, I ain't complaining. I liked it.
Me too.
I was cool with it.
Me too. Go Ducks. Heck yeah.
Quack, quack, baby.
Well, just going through the top 10, Alabama beat Mercer. Good job, Alabama, 48-14.
It's close.
Georgia beat UAB 56-7. Oklahoma over Western Carolina 76-0. Clemson beat South Carolina State 49-3. Texas A&M did not cover against Colorado. They won 10-7 on the road. Cincinnati beat Murray State 42-7. Notre Dame had to come from behind to beat Toledo.
Notre Dame got lucky again.
That's why they're the Irish. Again. Penn State beat Ball State 44-13. That's just in your. The Penn State's on the outside looking in. Now, Iowa is the number 5 team in the AP. The coaches' poll should be coming out sometime while we're still on the air today.
Breaking news.
Just like you said, the winner of that game is going to be in the discussion for the playoff.
And they should be for the next 2 weeks until Penn State.
If they take care of business.
If they take care of it. 3 weeks. I mean, Maryland's going to be an iffy game. Kaker talked about that. It's a game before Penn State. So, they'll be in the talks for a while. And hopefully with these 2 games, Kent State and Colorado State, Petrus works out some kinks or whatever else. He's got to be a lot better than 13 for 27 with 138 yards.
Is Iowa the best defense in the country?
They have to be talks up there, whatever else.
Us in Georgia, right?
What?
Us in Georgia.
Yeah.
For the.
Let's see. I'm just pulling up some notes here about the defense. I can just give you this. Iowa's won its last 8 games. The Hawkeyes have outscored their last 8 opponents 275-106, averaging 34.3 points per game offensively and allowing 13.3 points per game during that winning streak.
Sounds like good.
Yeah, sounds like good. We'll take it. Let's see. The other first in there, Caleb Chudik's 51-yard field goal was in the third was his career long. Torrey Taylor had a 69-yard punt in the third quarter. That's his career long.
Nice.
Yeah. Charlie Jones, my guy Charlie Jones. I love this guy.
Yeah, he's my new favorite player.
Yeah,
now.
Thank you. I think everyone's slowly getting on board with this.
He was looking like Wes Welker out there, man.
I know.
He was looking good.
He only had 2 receptions for 36 yards, but he had a 26-yard touchdown in the second quarter. That was his first career touchdown. Love the kid.
Yes.
Good job, Chuck.
Yeah. Love him. Irrational confidence is what Kaker said. He says the captain of the irrational confidence team. I love it. Iowa had 4 takeaways in that game, 0 turnovers. Last time Iowa turned the ball over against Iowa State was in 2015. So it's been 352 plays since they've turned the ball over with them. Iowa scored 37 points on 7 turnovers this season. That's important. That's key right there. Iowa's won 5 straight games against ranked opponents dating back to 2019. The last time they did that was a 6-game stretch in 1960. And Saturday was Iowa's highest-ranked road win since defeating Penn State, who was number 5 at the time, 21-10 in 2009. A lot to be happy about, including winning the Cy-Hawk Trophy. Holly Rowe had a nice sideline interview with KF afterwards, and I didn't know what he was going with it. Like, I thought he was kind of like a semi. There you go. I thought he was like semi-annoyed by the question. She's like, there's a lot of hype about this Iowa State team, blah blah blah, and she's like, but a win like this today, hey, we're still here. And he paused and he looked at her and he's like, yeah, And I was like, wait a minute, is he annoyed with her? And then I text my buddies and everything else. I'm like. Because it was on Twitter, like there were players like that's my coach and everything, and they point out they're like he's trying to not get emotional. He gets emotional over games like that, and especially a high energy game with he's going to treat it like it's business, like it's another day, another game, but it's a big deal when people are questioning saying Iowa State's coming, and then you do that. And the other thing is Holly Rowe was the one to interview him. The day in 2003, when he went to Penn State, and he's from Pennsylvania. He went to Penn State, and they won on the road right after his father passed. And he always respected Holly the way she held that interview after the game with grace and professionalism, that when she went through some personal times too, he sent her flowers and said something back. So they have a nice rapport. So I think it's more of a thing of he was like, yeah, it is. And it's, they got the trophy, and it was good. ESPN Game Day, Lee Corso. Here's a fun thing about Lee Corso. Second week in a row, if you watch before Game Day goes on, you can do it. You can see it on. I watched it on the ESPN app or whatever else. This is the second week in a row. He came out to the crowd and had them going. I mean, this crowd around the set was nuts. And they couldn't decide, the people that were kind of talking with their microphone, you couldn't even hear them. So he's got the 2 helmets, and they'll hold up Iowa State, and everyone's, yeah. And they'll hold up Hawkeye helmet, boo. And he does it like back and forth 5 times. Until eventually he picks up the Iowa State helmet and kisses it like that's who he's picking for his game day pick. And they go nuts. So the woman points out, out of the 3 that's there, she said, does he go opposite every time? And Desmond was like, I don't know. Desmond Howard's out there. He's like, I don't know. I'm never out this early. He's like, seriously. And the other guy's like, what? And they're like, what? And she goes, well, last week he picked wherever they were. I even forget. He picked one team, and then when he was on the actual show, the taping, he went opposite.
Right.
He did the same thing on Saturday. He got the crowd going, and then he went opposite and took the Hawkeyes on the air. And then Lee Corso.
What a heel.
Oh, bigger than that. You didn't hear what else he did?
No.
He pulled out the Cyhawk trophy and said, I wanted to show it to Iowa State. They haven't seen it in a while.
Ooh, baby.
Oh, boy.
Love that.
Yeah, you're not kidding. So that's the heat right there. You know, that's the typical.
I can appreciate that.
Him wearing the herky hat and sitting next to Kuchar there. That was a beautiful picture.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, and as far as that went, see, around the area, Wisconsin won. Any other games, Saturday games that stand out with you guys that was important at all? I didn't really, Illinois just got beat up by Virginia.
Legitimately only paid attention to the Ohio State loss and the Iowa win. That's all I cared about.
Over bettors in the Iowa game got all excited because Iowa State tried to kick that late field goal to get the over.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we got a chance. And no.
Womp womp.
Wide left.
But, we've got that to look forward to. Hopefully Iowa doesn't stumble or anything like that. Keep the Penn State game in mind, but don't overlook the Maryland game at all. Let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about the NFL. I mean, it's kind of important.
Oh yeah,
but
it's good. Some good games there. Yeah.
There's. You think?
I was watching.
Is there some good games there?
There's
some.
There's a few good games. Yeah.
I don't think it was a Packer game. It was more of an event. It wasn't really a game.
We'll talk about that more when we come back here. ESPN 1170 AM.
Snapping necks and catching.
You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
Hi, this is Derek.
And this is Skip.
We are the twins from Arbar Davenport, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
On ESPN 1170 AM.
When you open an essential business checking account at First Midwest Bank, you'll earn a $500 bonus. But that's not all. You'll also have your own local banker who knows your business. A $500 bonus plus a local bank to help you succeed. That's banking with momentum. Visit a First Midwest branch to open an essential business checking account by November 30th, 2021. $100 minimum deposit to open. Available to businesses located in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Must complete all bonus requirements to be eligible. Details available at firstmidwest.com/smallbiz, member FDIC.
Draft Day Sports Lounge has everything you need to enjoy all the sports action. Over 50 beer options to choose from, great food, sports betting, and a fantastic atmosphere for you and your friends to escape to. They're always adding to the menu to make sure there's the perfect option for everyone. So come visit Draft Day Sports Lounge inside Rhythm City Casino. And if you want to plan ahead, the full menu is at rhythmcitycasino.com.
At Crawford Company, we specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Sports, on the other hand?
Hey, Crawford guy, go long!
No, I can't.
Here comes the pitch to Crawford guy. Strike 3.
Come on, Crawford guy, take the shot.
Sports may not be our specialty, but home comfort is. Crawford Company, plumbing and drain cleaning, heating and air conditioning.
Women take hormones to look and feel better. So why not men? Men mostly ignore the stages of low testosterone until their low T symptoms stack up so high they can't ignore them anymore. You may have low energy, weight gain, loss of muscle mass, moodiness, low sex drive, lack of concentration, depression. Guys, don't wait till your symptoms make you miserable. Talk to the experts in men's health. Schedule a complimentary consult at limitlessmail.com. Insurance accepted.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, over-designed, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 5510 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 5510. Enjoy.
I'm Chris Rose with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Aaron Rodgers was picked off twice in a blowout loss to the Saints. Jameis Winston threw for 5 touchdowns, helping New Orleans to a 38-3 win over the Pack. After the game, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reported that the Saints and Marshawn Lattimore, their fine cornerback, agreed to a 5-year, $97.6 million extension with $66 million guaranteed. Patrick Mahomes threw for 337 yards and 3 scores in a 33-29 win against the Browns. Tyreek Hill had 11 snags for 197 yards, including a 75-yard score for the reigning AFC champs. The Steelers held Josh Allen to under 300 yards passing thanks to a pair of sacks from the highest-paid defensive player in the NFL, T.J. Watt. Steelers beat the Bills 23-16. And the rookies, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones, all lost in their debuts. The Jets and Patriots square off at MetLife Stadium next Sunday. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Warmer colors, cooler temperatures. The season is just getting started. And Lowe's has everything you need to keep the fall gatherings going. Like getting cozy around gas fire pits. Everyday low prices starting at $249. And keeping things tidy with Ego blowers as low as $179. There's still more to fall for at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Valid 9/9 through 9/15, U.S. only.
Did you know the arrow in Amazon's logo represents A to Z? Maybe the My Computer Career logo should represent unemployed to employed. Ryan was out of work when he started classes in March. In September, he started his IT career, working for Amazon, making more money than he ever thought possible. Here's a prime opportunity. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Never miss a thing with our app. Listen live from anywhere in the world and be notified when news breaks. From the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Welcome back to the show here at ESPN 1170 AM. Thanks for the Twins for taking us into break there. The R Bar in Davenport is your destination for an upscale and sophisticated atmosphere. The R Bar is located at 4907 Utica Ridge Road and prides itself on its fine wines and liqueurs, unique cocktails and martinis. From Busch Light to bougie, the R Bar has something for everyone, which makes it a great fit for you and your friends. Have a drink, grab a bottle of wine to share, and watch a game. You can do all that at the R Bar. Make sure to check out their Facebook for live music, announcements, specials, and much more. And while you're there, make sure to like their page. See you tonight at our bar in Davenport on Utica. Talked to the Skip yesterday. It had a great crowd for the Iowa game. They've been getting a lot of good crowds in there. And if that's where you're going to go, I would suggest calling ahead and maybe reserving a table because they pack it in over there. So speaking of Saturday, how did the show go at Beer Stube?
It was great. We packed them in as well. Mm-hmm. Jay, nice little segue there.
Yeah.
Dig it. Our last outdoor event of the season. We'll be back next spring, though. You know, we're in talks, going to finalize the schedule here within a couple months. So it was great. It was a good time. Had a little fracas, a melee at the end. There was no conclusive winner to our Shane Hollister versus Johnny Wisdom title match. So we are going to see one last rematch for all the marbles when we return to the Walcott Coliseum, our first event at the Walcott Coliseum since March of 2020.
Big news.
And that match for the SCW Pro Championship will be conducted under Extreme Rules.
Oh, boy.
Which means there are no rules,
That's
Jay.
right.
Shane Hollister versus Johnny Wisdom, October 2nd, Extreme Rules. But before that, we have an event this Saturday at Wildwood in Iowa City. 7 p.m. start. So head on out to Iowa City, watch the Hawkeyes beat up on Kent State, get all liquored up, and then responsibly find your way to Wildwood for some pro wrestling.
That's not Hawkamania, is it?
All of our shows in Iowa City are Hawkamania.
Oh, okay.
So this, I believe, this is Hawkamania 18.
Gotcha.
Our 18th event in Iowa City. So after you watch the Hawkeyes put a beat down on Kent State, come on out to Wildwood in Iowa City, and we'll have some kick-ass pro wrestling for you. How's that sound? $10, 7 p.m. start.
Well, Sunday. It's all football, right?
Oh, yeah. I actually tried to make a productive morning for the first time in a long time on an NFL Sunday, and got my lawn mowed and ran some errands and returned a couple things that I had borrowed from my sister out to her, and did some laundry and cleaned the bathrooms in my home. And I was a little anxious, a little nervous, so I didn't want to just be sitting there with all that frenetic energy. So I got some things done knowing that I would be planting my tuchus on my recliner for the next, 10 hours or so, watching football all day, engorging myself with pizza and chicken wings, and had some lobster bites from Long John Silver's, man. If you haven't had those, like, we're not sponsored by Long John Silver's, but holy hell, they're delicious. They're little buttery lobster bites in like a popcorn shrimp type breading. It's right up the street here after you get out of here,
yeah,
Jay.
Why? What? I going down on a different. Where were you thinking? Like, you know what?
I saw a commercial and I was like, man, I love lobster and those look delicious. So I made my way out before the games kicked off at noon. And I grabbed a box of lobster bites.
And you're behind this.
Hit me up.
All right.
Hit me up.
Was it
Long
because you
John
were playing
Silver's.
the Patriots?
I'm actually
Boston
from
crab
New
crate?
England, so seafood is like my number one go-to option.
I'm a huge seafood fan.
I'm telling you, lobster bites.
The crazy thing about Long John Silver's is the only thing I eat there is their chicken planks.
Which are delicious as well.
Are.
Every time you eat Long John Silver's, you have to map out an hour where you cannot plan on moving because everything's just so greasy and it's just sitting at the bottom of your gut that you just have to stay very, very still so you don't lose your lunch.
You have to like warn everybody that's either sitting at the table with you or booth around you or even at the house. Like, it's going to smell like malt vinegar sauce for like an obscene amount of time.
Yep. But you know what? It's worth it.
It 100% is worth it.
Lobster bites. Check them out today.
Right. No hush puppies,
Long
Jay?
John Silver's, what?
No hush puppies?
Oh, yeah. I put the malt vinegar sauce on all of it, even my fries and my coleslaw.
There you go.
Just go after it. It's something my grandfather started to have me do years ago.
It's great.
But I've never had lobster bites. So you had pizza, wings, and lobster bites.
I'm trying to think what else. I think that covers it.
Yeah.
I'm on this anti-inflammatory diet right now. So like 6 days out of the week, I got to eat super clean and super healthy, which is having an amazing side effect.
You've been putting like things on Twitter like you're working out or whatever else.
I'm doing a little working out. I'm trying to take care of my spine, really. Like people are like, oh, he's coming back to wrestling. Spoiler alert, I'm not. But if it gets you to buy a ticket to a wrestling show, then sure, maybe. Who knows? You might see me out there. But the diet, anti-inflammatory, trying to bring down the inflammation in the spine, the neck, and the back, and whatnot. And it has an amazing side effect of losing weight. I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it, but I've recently lost 30 pounds, which feels nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So 6 days out of the week, I eat super clean, super healthy, but I got to have my cheat day. There's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel. So on Sundays, I go ham. Sometimes literally I eat ham. But so lots of junk food, lots of bad for me food, and then now I'm back on the diet. I had a peach and a banana before I came in.
Well, Football Sunday.
Yes, sir.
My new segment on Wednesdays is called the 150s, where I look at all the lines and I bet every single game and say if I'm going to put up $50 or $100, but I have to bet one way or the other. I went 7-8 from Thursday through Sunday. Going into tonight's game, I have the Raiders +4.
Ooh, with no Josh Jacobs, it's looking like.
I only have $50 on it. That doesn't matter either way. Right
Yeah,
now,
are
I'm
you
down,
up?
Right,
You
no,
down?
right now, if you look at it, I would be down $160. So out of all my losses, I lost 660. Out of my winnings, I took 500. So there's no way to break even this week. So pay attention to the next 150s to see if I do better. But a lot of upsets here, and we kind of knew that was going to happen. If you're smart enough to pay attention to week 1, but you still kind of think you kind of know everything, and we're about ready to talk about how we don't know everything.
Yeah.
Where would you like to start? Let's go with your Dolphins first.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Tua.
So why is it always got to be about Tua? What's going on here? Last I checked, this is a 53-man roster, 11 players on both sides of the ball. It doesn't always have to be about Tua. He played a decent game, not a stellar game, not a spectacular game. But let's take a look at the scoreboard. 17-16 Miami. They were underdogs on the road going against the second greatest NFL coach of all time, Bill Belichick, right behind Don Shula.
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
What? You know, again, let's check the scoreboard. How many wins does Shula have? Just checking.
Okay.
And the Dolphins pulled out the victory. They weren't going into that game as the favorites. They were the underdogs. 2.5 points, according to Vegas. And they won.
Yep.
Bill Belichick, since 2004, the New England Patriots have lost 3 opening day games. One of them was yesterday to the Dolphins. Another one was a few years back down in Miami. And then you had the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs for, I believe it was Kareem Hunt's first NFL game, and he torched them.
Tua was 16 of 27 for 202 yards and a touchdown. McCorkle.
And a rushing touchdown.
McCorkle, 29 of 39.
Yeah.
281 yards.
Yeah, a lot of dink and dunk there. But, hey, I'm not going to sit here and talk trash about McCorkle. He played a good game. He really did. He looked like a good quarterback. He routinely, first of all, the Patriots did exactly what I thought they would do. They ran the ball on first down. They ran the ball on second down. They presented McCorkle with many third and shorts, and the Dolphins were unable to generate pressure using their front four, so they had to send a lot of blitzing linebackers, which typically would, confuse a rookie quarterback and would result in quite a few sacks and maybe some interceptions. That didn't happen. The Dolphins sacked McCorkle once. It was on his opening drive. They didn't intercept him at all, and he was converting those third downs, those third and shorts, with pressure in his face. He looked like a legitimate NFL quarterback, much to my dismay. I would love it if the Patriots could just be bad for like a while. The Dolphins maybe finally have replaced Dan Marino after 20 years of inept football and inept play at the quarterback position. And if the Patriots go from 20 years of Tom Brady, one semi-off year with Cam Newton, and then right into another 15 to 20 years of McCorkle playing well, I'm going to be a little salty about that.
Sure.
But he looked good. He did, but not good enough to win.
So,
and may I point out that his only touchdown drive, right? You said it yourself. He threw for 1 touchdown. That touchdown drive shouldn't have happened because the drive was extended on a third down play where there was a very, very questionable roughing the passer call for a low hit on the quarterback where he got hit in his thighs. You can go back and you can freeze frame it right at the point of impact. And it was an incomplete. It would have been a 4th down, and they may have kicked a field goal there. They may have had to punt in that situation. But unfortunately for the Dolphins, the drive was extended, and he was able to throw that touchdown pass because of that.
Are you liking your rookie wide receiver, Waddle?
Jalen Waddle, 4 catches, 61 yards, and a tutty.
Yes.
In his debut. He did have 1 bad drop on a 3rd and 10. He ran a 15-yard out, and Tua put it right on him, hit him in the hands, and he dropped it. So his stats could have been even more impressive if he was able to make that play. But when he did have the ball in his hands, he looked electric. He looked quick. He looked shifty. He was creating separation. I believe he created 3.6 yards of separation per target, which was a full yard better than the best receiver for Miami last year at that. So that's an insane stat for you right there. But he looked good, and I'm excited to see that connection grow. And it was cool to see him get a touchdown because they played in the 3 o'clock games, and Chase and Devontae Smith both had, Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith both had touchdowns in their games as well. So I was really hoping Waddle wouldn't put up a dud, because then that's obviously the narrative going forward that, oh, the Dolphins reached and they should have taken Devontae Smith, or they should have stayed at 3 and taken Jamar Chase, and yada, 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 yada. But all 3 rookie receivers did well in their games, so kudos to those guys.
Previously, Belichick, rookie quarterbacks that started for them in their first career starts were 6-0. So
what's that
didn't
now?
do that. Yeah, 6-1.
They lost.
McCorkle didn't come through on that.
Nope.
There was a stat. It was on CBS Sports on the Pick Six podcast that there was been something like, I think 30 rookie quarterbacks in their first time starting, throwing over 30, having over 30 attempts. All of them were like well under the 70%. He was at 74% completion.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at his average depth of throw per completion, it's pretty low, all things considered. I think they ranked him as the 21st most aggressive quarterback in week 1, so bottom third of the league there. But, again, I'm not trying to take anything away from him, because he did look good, and he was going against the Dolphins' defense, and that defense is stout. They were the number 1 ranked defense going into Week 17 last year, and unfortunately they gave up quite a few points to the Buffalo Bills in that game, so they finished somewhere around 4-7, somewhere in that. But the Dolphins' defense is good, and McCorkle looked pretty good against him. 74% completion percentage, a passer rating over 100. Some would say he outplayed Tua. I would say he has a much better offensive line than Tua does, but he did look good, and he looks like he's going to be a problem. This is actually, I have an article out on thefinsider.com, just came out 30 minutes ago. You can check it out. Again, thefinsider.com, PHINSIDER, where I talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Dolphins' Week 1 victory against the Patriots. And my ugly portion of that was that Mac Jones looks like a problem. And that's not good news for Dolphins fans going forward, because we'll see him again in Week 18, and then we'll see him again twice a year for the foreseeable future.
You want to know what annoys me about McCorkle already?
His face.
That's a start. That's a start. Okay. He throws a touchdown pass to Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar hands him the ball to be like, it's your first touchdown pass. He looks at him like he's confused as all heck. Why would I want that? He hands it back to Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar is now concerned, like, what's going on? Are we playing hot potato here? He goes and he hands it back to him. He's like, no, man. You're like, basically, like, you need to take this. It's your first one. And he's like, what? And they're all confused over this because he doesn't want the ball. So he goes to the sidelines and he hands it to Brian Hoyer.
Yeah.
Your backup quarterback. Back up to the backup quarterback.
And then he was interviewed after the game about it, and he said, it's just one touchdown. Why would I care about that?
It's one touchdown.
We need to do better.
We need to do better.
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
Is he like an extension of Bill Belichick or what?
Is
he like a symbiote
thing to say, like, well, we're moving on to whatever. And that's you would. I mean, if Tom Brady could have scripted it any better, he would have.
So
it's exactly what Tom would be like. What at the time? I'm going to throw $100 million of
the
these.
Patriots have a history of cheating, right?
Sure.
Here's my conspiracy theory: McCorkle is a robot engineered by the Patriots organization, sent to Alabama to do just well enough to be a first-round pick, but not so great that he gets sniped in the first few picks.
It could be.
That's my conspiracy theory.
I think it comes from the TB12 method, Alex Guerrero thing, or whatever else.
He was programmed.
I'm fine with that.
By Belichick.
Yeah, he was built. Yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly. I'm fine with that.
In a lab up in Boston.
Yeah, I'm going to throw so many. All right, so let's rip the Band-Aid off the other way. 38-3.
Oof.
Packers' worst loss in a game started by Aaron Rodgers in his career.
Hey, do you know who else lost 38-3?
I know. I sure know where you're going with that. Yep.
The Saints beat the Buccaneers.
They did, and they went on
38-3.
That's right.
And then went on to win the Super Bowl.
I think it's because Aaron Rodgers' hair looked dumb out the back of his helmet yesterday.
He
looked stupid.
You know who he looked like in the postgame? He looked like really Parkman from they're all slicked back.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
From Major League 2?
everybody except for Packer fans just hate your guts, just like Parkman.
Yeah.
He looked old. Like, his face looked old.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I noticed. Like, did these, like, even Belichick, he looked like I can't say it on air, but, you know, a part of the male anatomy that dangles between your legs. He just looked like everyone looks so old and disheveled and lumpy, and like, I'm like, what happened? You guys were just playing football like 8 months ago. What's going on? This has been a rough pandemic on everyone, I guess.
Yeah. So Jameis Winston drops 5 touchdowns.
Ooh-wee.
Game was played in Jacksonville because of the displaced Saints because of the hurricane. Yeah, Jameis just throwing balls, hit that one in stride. That was just unbelievable. Yeah, what's going on? Is Aaron okay? Is LaFleur doing some things here? Because he had some questionable play calls as well.
Yeah.
Are they both trying to mess it up?
Is Rodgers petty enough to just completely dog this season on his way out?
No, a lot of people are saying that too. Like,
really?
he's
I was
mad
being
at the
facetious,
Packers.
by the way.
Yeah, there's no way.
He's throwing the game. He had one really nice pass to Devontae Adams. If he was throwing the game, you don't drop that kind of ball. But no, I'm upset. It's like you know when you're handicapping a horse and you're looking through the program
Talking my language, yeah.
and you're like, oh, he ran first, second, and then you run this race where it's like stumbled out of the gate, dead last. Like, this is just that game where everything went wrong every side, and you just scratch it. You just put a line through it and you go on to the next race.
It seems like the Packers do this every year.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first game, but early on in the season, they have a game where they just look like the drizzling you-know-whats. And they always turn it around. They always end up winning 11 or 12 games. They always end up in the playoffs. And, you know, like Roger says, RELAX.
Yeah, and that was like week 12 or 11 in 2018. I think that's when that was, when he the relax and everything, and then they went on and took like 5-6 and went to the NFC Championship. So
a couple of bright spots. AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon looked really good.
Okay.
Out there running. I thought
was that after the Saints stopped giving a crap?
Yeah, it could have been, but he looked really good out there. I think we're going to see a lot more of him. The other bright part is 0-4, Jay. The division went 0-4.
Yeah, the Lions are
just a
leading
redo.
the division.
They forgot that they added an extra game to the schedule, so they all agreed they would just tank the first week and we'll play 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll play 16 in 17 weeks.
It's like when your commissioner forgets that he did fantasy football, forgets that he did the settings wrong, and then you guys do your draft, and then he goes to put everything in. And he's like, "Oh, there's an extra week. We just give you guys another kicker, and now just have a free for all on the waiver wire."
Yeah,
is that what they were going for?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So here's some things, and we're gonna talk more about each one of them, but each one of the games a little bit. But yeah, I mean, fun fact: the Lions are in first place in the NFC North. So,
congrats, Lions fans! You've made it.
Yeah,
you did it.
Speaking of the Lions, thank God we got them next week to get back on track.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
they've got momentum now.
They played one good quarter. I'm not really worried.
They played a great quarter, and you know what? That's one great quarter more than the Packers played.
True.
Can somebody explain to me why the Lions are in first place?
Did they score the most points? Is that it?
Yeah, points forced, but that still doesn't make any sense because they don't have the Vikings in second place.
Who knows?
The differential, like Vikings only gave up 3. There's got to what tiebreaker?
They have the coolest mascot. I don't know.
Alphabetically?
No, because the Bears would be up there.
Detroit.
They feel bad for them.
There you go. Week 1. Like, hey, let's see. Here's some other fun ones for you. The Eagles are in first place in the NFC East. Houston Texans are in first place in the AFC South.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Also a beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lawrence. Okay, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Who has the better rookie season from here on out? Trevor Lawrence or McCorkle Jones?
So Lawrence threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
He's one of like 3 rookie quarterbacks to do that.
Three touchdowns, 3 interceptions. McCorkle 281, 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
Are you asking who will win more or who will have like a better QBR?
Who will you feel more comfortable moving forward with after the season's over? If you the whole season's done.
Oh boy.
If you're a GM, who do you look at and go, that's who I want as my quarterback?
I'm only saying this because of this. Go on, Matt. Sorry.
No, I still have to say Trevor Lawrence.
After it's all said and done.
After the
season's over, do you want the quarterback?
McCorkle's going to look like.
So let's say
that you want.
McCorkle has a completion percentage around maybe 68% with 18 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And let's say Trevor Lawrence has a completion percentage around 60% with 29 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. Who do you want? The guy who takes care of the ball or the gunslinger that can throw a touchdown on any play?
Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
I'll take Brett. Give me the gunslinger.
You live and you die by the right arm of your QB.
I'm fine. I'd rather go down fighting and not take a sack, not throw it out of bounds. Favre he threw it up there, but you know what? He gave us a chance to win. Go make a play. Give me the gunslinger, for sure.
Who do you got, Jay?
The problem is this. It's going to end up being McCorkle because of the system. Lawrence is going to have a new head coach within 3 years.
Yep.
And the same thing, he's going to have a revolving door of offensive coordinators. And if Hoodie ever leaves, Josh McDaniels is just taking over a head coach. So the system, McCorkle is a product of the system. So he's going to end up looking better or whatever else. It doesn't mean which one would I rather have on Madden? I don't know. Probably Trevor Lawrence. I have no idea.
Sure. I mean, if you're in control,
at the end, you're going to go, well, wait, the guy, even if he goes 9-8, you're going to say, I want McCorkle over the guy who can't beat the dumpster fire Texans, which is fine because I actually took the Texans.
Yeah, with McCorkle, you need a good defense and a good running game, and you need him to manage the game for you, at least for now.
Mm-hmm.
With Trevor Lawrence, you never know what you're going to get from week to week. Is this the week he throws 5 interceptions? Again, this is based off one game. It's super early, but based off that one game.
Part about the Monday after week 1, you can just be crazy and say dumb stuff.
Now Lawrence could go on to throw 30 touchdowns this year, and he only throws 3 more interceptions, and then this entire conversation looks dumb. But we got 2 hours to fill on Quad City Radio here,
right. Sure.
And so you're going to listen to this conversation, okay? What are you going to do? Turn on country music?
No.
Sit down. You're probably driving, so you're already sitting.
We'll do.
If you're standing while you're driving, that is dangerous.
Yes, right. We'll go to kind of keep it a little bit regional. Bears last night. They have the Rams. Stafford. I mean, it's just like he's like we said. You know, it's like he's got a brand new toy up there in L.A. and he was 20 of 26, 321 yards and 3 touchdowns. The highest passer rating for someone who's ever highest passer rating for a quarterback who ever started for a new team.
I'll tell you what, Jay. A couple weeks ago, I was on this show and I told you I loved Stafford for fantasy this year. You looked at me like I had 6 eyeballs.
He's on 3 out of my 4 teams.
You said what? I said he is a late round QB target that I think is going to return you top 5 production.
I think you were food deprived because of your diet.
Come on now. Come on now. Come on, Facebook fools, get on there. Find the list.
They only checked the ball 26 times.
This is you. Hindsight's 2020. I remember this.
Okay, he's got on 3 of my teams.
Well, then 3 of your teams were looking pretty after last night.
I still lost.
Jay, were you jumping out of your chair when they put Fields in and he got that touchdown?
I was excited for it. It was.
You're not a Fields fan.
I don't care either way, to be honest with you. Sunday is for the spread to me, honestly. Like, I flirt with different teams every year. Every year I flirt with the team. Right now I have more Los Angeles Rams stock and players than anything. I mean, Higbee, I'm doubling up with Higbee. I've got receivers that he's throwing to. Like, there's every team that Stafford's on, there's at least 1 or 2 more Rams on there. So
yeah,
it would look like I'm
a little salty. I don't have any Rams pass catchers after last night because that's a good defense. Bears have a good defense, and they did not look it last night.
Bears defense did not look good at all.
Nope.
Their offensive line is horrendous.
I mean, you had Cooper Kupp running deep, like literally 20 yards away from the closest defender. Like, that's embarrassing.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I haven't seen anything like what the story is coming out with Fields. what they're going to do going forward. 27-38 for the Red Rocket, 206 yards, 0 touchdowns.
That's a very McCorkle-like line.
Yeah. Nothing too impressive coming out of there. Basically, his stats are similar to Carson Wentz.
How many times was he sacked? Dalton.
Great question.
Plenty.
Too many. Yeah, too many.
That's where the difference is right there. Fields can, if he play, he's
I'll
getting
tell you this,
away from a lot of those sacks.
Not nearly as many times as Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Not even close.
I'll tell you, that's not one that I saw coming. I thought they were going to be able to pass the ball on the Arizona defense quite a bit. I thought Julio was going to have a big day. Nope. I thought A.J. Brown was going to have a big day.
Let's just move over to that. If Arizona can play defense like that,
watch out.
Yeah, that's a scary team.
Or are we going to say that we're giving Tennessee a pass and be like, well, that's because Arthur Smith is no longer there.
Well, Arthur Smith didn't fare well in Atlanta either.
Some people are not good head. Some OCs are just not good head coaches.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that about Arthur Smith after week 1, but did they even score a touchdown in Atlanta?
And I was watching that game closely because I drafted Calvin Ridley pretty high, and they were not throwing the football. They ran the ball so many times with Mike Davis and whoever else was there.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. It was like the opposite of every Cardinal or every Falcons game plan for the past 10 years. And yes, you would like to run a more balanced offense. And with Arthur Smith coming in, formerly, having or engineering those great seasons from Derrick Henry, you expect them to run the ball a little bit more, and it's going to be a little bit more evenly dispersed, but not that much. And they were still running the ball when they were down 2 scores late in the third quarter, and those fans were letting them have it. You got Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, who just did nothing.
Try out the new rookie. Get him going.
And he was going up against a defense that was without their starting safety. Pitts is a mismatch. Send him down the field, up the middle, up the seam. He's a freak of nature. But, man, they have some work to do. They need to clean some things up. Then they need to go back to the drawing board because that game plan was hot garbage.
Let's come back and we'll talk about Minnesota and the Kansas City game as well. We got to take a quick break here. ESPN 1170 AM.
You like that? You like that? We're streaking. We're going up through the quad to the gymnasium. There's more coming.
Frank, get in the car.
Everybody's doing it. Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
This is WQAD's Matt Randazzo, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
What's your car's monthly payment? There's a good chance that First Midwest Bank can lower it. Just like refinancing a mortgage, First Midwest Bank can refinance your auto loan too. That means lower payments, lower interest rates, and higher monthly savings. Plus, you can wait up to 60 days to make your first payment. Go to firstmidwest.com/auto refi to apply and drive down your car payments today. Member FDIC, subject to credit approval, vehicle insurance required.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We can help you get started. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX and an STP oil filter, plus an STP air filter or cabin air filter for just $34.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
Over the past few years, people in the Quad Cities have been buying online more and more. Now, since the pandemic hit, online sales have absolutely skyrocketed. Having an online presence was important before, but now it's an outright necessity. But don't worry, MyLocalCustomers.com is here to help. All you need to do is go to MyLocalCustomers.com to receive a free competitive analysis to see what Town Square Media can do for you. We'll help you find more local customers online and help grow your business faster. Town Square offers premium website services that get you new leads every day, plus a dedicated marketing specialist who will work with you the whole time, so you don't have to mess with updating a website. It's fast and easy with no contracts, so you can cancel at any time. Be one of the first to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on ESPN 1170 AM. As a business owner, you know how hard it is to get people to cross a bridge to get to your business. These days, they don't need to. Find your customers and keep your customers. Go to MyLocalCustomers.com.
It's time to rise and grind.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
I know Brad Pitt from the Hollywood scene in L.A., whatever. I see
drop.
him. Name drop. I see him. I say hi, whatever. He brings me over into that little section and whatnot. There's a guy with colored glasses on, and he's talking to me, having a conversation with me. And I'm like, oh, yeah. He's telling me, I asked him, what do you do for a living, where you from? He says, I'm from Ireland. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. What do you do for a living? He says, oh, I'm in the music business, da-da-da. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's what's up. And so I'm like, oh, you keep your head up. You know, you're going to just keep, man, this thing, I know it's tough, entertainment business, grind it out, the whole deal.
Look at you being motivational.
Brad Pitt goes, hey, man, you ever heard of U2? I'm like, no, I kind of know the group or whatever. He said, that's the lead singer of U2. I'm like, Bono. Oh, okay. But I'm trying to encourage him.
Zero idea who Bono was. Zero clue.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
So you're what they call an industrial athlete, but this ain't no gym. You're working hard. You got the right tools to get the job done? Would you play football and roller skates? I don't think so. So if your gear is beat up, tore up, all around mucked up, come on in and boot up at Quad City Safety, 5311 Tremont Avenue, Davenport. Or check us out at quadcitysafety.com.
It's time to rise and grind. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
Julio Jones does move on. He will be with the Tennessee Titans. And Key, you were shooting it down, saying it's not a good fit.
You're looking at him and you're saying production is going to come because they're going to throw the ball. They're not going to change their style. They've gone to the AFC Championship game, a couple playoff appearances on the backs of that running back in Derrick Henry. You think about the philosophy and style that Vrabel wants to play. They want to be big up front. They want to run the football. So you trade for Julio Jones, when many people think Julio Jones is on the way backside of his career based on injuries. But I don't necessarily like it for Julio, and I don't know what to make of it for the Titans because of the style of play. They're not going to be the Seattle Seahawks, the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not going to do that.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
You get a car, and you get a car. Would you like a car? Well, you get one. We all get cars.
Honey! It's 5 a.m. You just woke up the kids, and likely the neighbors.
Oops, sorry. Got carried away again. Have you seen the savings this month since we switched insurance?
Jorgensen Insurance. Savings worth singing about. Go on, belt out how much you've saved with us since you've switched. Visit jorgenseninsurance.com.
Download our app today and listen to sports from anywhere in the world. This is the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
All right, we're back here, ESPN 1178. I got to come right back because we're going right into this. Yo, we got a phone call. Who we got?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up,
Dan
Vasco?
Vasco here.
Dan Vasco, right on.
What are you happy about, Dan?
Former man of the people here in the Quad Cities. Now he's out in Carolina. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Overreaction Monday, right? So
Love
the Steelers are going 17-0, winning the Super Bowl. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
That was a great win, brother. Great win.
It was a big win. Definitely a big win.
So, okay, here's the questions. Since we are talking about the games or whatever else, the Steelers go up to Buffalo, and I think at some point the line was even at -8. They were road dogs. But the Steelers go in there and handle business just fine against Josh Allen and crew. What's the, I mean, Roethlisberger, 18 of 32, 188 yards. Allen chucked the ball 51 times, only completed 30 of those. But the defense was all over him. They're having Allen run the ball when they shouldn't. And new offensive coordinator Matt Canada is creating some openings and some new openings for Roethlisberger. What did you think about the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, going into it, I even had the Bills winning. I think most people did, just given all of the new stuff surrounding Pittsburgh, brand new O-line and everything like that. I mean, I thought there's definitely a ton that they need to, iron out. It still definitely wasn't pretty, especially that first half. They looked really flat. But and even though they didn't have a phenomenal day running the football, they looked a lot better situationally running, third down runs or, getting a couple of big chunk plays from Najee Harris. So I thought that was encouraging. Pass protection was still a little bit iffy, but they didn't make, a terrible mistake, and that's kind of what the Steelers have had issues with in the past. So that was encouraging, and the fact that they didn't have to blitz Josh Allen, which was crazy because they are one of the highest blitz rate teams in the league over the past several years. They got pressure with the front four, and if you can do that against any opponent, really, but particularly great quarterbacks, you have a really good chance at winning. And I think that was really the difference maker, was that they were able to constantly make him uncomfortable and not allow him time to complete some of those really big plays down the field that we know Josh Allen's so capable of. So definitely encouraging, but it is, just one game. And, I just hope they can build off of it and, keep doing well. They got a couple winnable games coming up here, so they should have a good start to the season.
Well, you're tied for first with the Cincinnati Burros.
That's right. Yeah, there you go.
And then everyone's darling favorites, the Cleveland Browns, decided to brown it up again against the Kansas City Chiefs. So, Mayfield looked good up until that chucked interception he had at the end of the game. They're led by double digits. Here's a crazy stat for you. Patrick Mahomes has won 9 out of his last 11 games. 9 times in the last 11 games that he's trailed by double digits.
Yep.
It's nuts.
That's their makeup, really. That's what makes them so good, is they don't panic. And a lot of teams, we saw it with the Browns. Like, there are some teams in the league that do well with a lead, but when their back's against the wall, that's when they're truly tested. And we've seen that with even the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's incredible, but so far they have had a difficult time when they have to play from behind. Same with Baker Mayfield and the Browns. So those are a couple things that, really concern you early on. We saw the incredible postseason run that Patrick Mahomes had, where they were constantly down double digits and kept running through it. But that's an incredible stat. 9 of the last 11 games. When you're down, especially late in a football game, by double digits, that's almost a recipe for, a loss instantly. But for the Chiefs, you almost get favored more if they're trailing by 10 points. It's like, they go in with a -8. Oh, well, they're trailing by 10. All right, now it's a -20. It's unreal.
In your territory, the Sam Darnold Bowl was happening.
Yeah, it was.
And Sam Darnold got the victory, 19-14 over the Jets.
I was going into the year, I was really high on Carolina. I know it coincides with me coming out here, so it seems like a bit of a homer pick. But I really do feel confident about this team, and that defense is really, really talented. And I just was banking on Sam Darnold really, putting his talents on display in this Joe Brady offense. It wasn't as convincing of a victory as I would have liked to see, but a win's a win, right? And so they'll take it any way they can get it. And, I think Matt Rule's a really good head coach, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this year.
And maybe the most important part of that victory was that Christian McCaffrey stayed healthy throughout the entire contest.
They have no shot if McCaffrey can't stay healthy at least the very vast majority of the year. So that was number one right there. And obviously he played great in the receiving game and rushing game. They just need him to be there for them because he can do everything, right? He's one of the best players, if not top 3 in the entire league. So that was a very important aspect for the Panthers.
CMC had his 7th game with 75 yards rushing and 75 yards receiving. He passed Walter Payton for 3rd most since the merger. Only Marshall Faulk and Priest Holmes have more.
And he's coming.
Yeah, he's coming for you. Yeah, and he's still young. Yeah. But like you said, stay healthy or whatever else. Yeah, Panthers could do some damage. And I'm a fan of that coach, too, Matt Rule. I am. And I think Sam Darnold we might have an FU mode Sam Darnold. Maybe that's it.
That's right. Maybe we will, yeah. I picked them to win the South, believe it or not. I have them beating out Tampa Bay for that title. It was my bold prediction of the year. So obviously I'm going out on a limb a little bit on that.
That's
one,
crazy,
Dan.
Dan.
I think they can do it.
Dan, you sound crazy right now.
I know. That's what I love about it, though. Got to go big or go home.
That's right.
Hey, Dan, I heard a stat on the way here that a blocked punt in an NFL game, you have a 90% chance of winning that game. That blocked punt by the Steelers was such a Pittsburgh thing to do and totally changed the momentum of that game.
Yeah, no, it really did. I did not know that stat. That's actually pretty crazy. But that just shows how it really is the ultimate team sport, like, and how important special teams are. Because the special teams can flip a game, and really special teams plays a big factor in, field position, which equates to points more often than not. But, yeah, that came at the absolute perfect time when the team really needed to get a spark. Only one offensive touchdown on the day, so to get one from the special teams like that, absolutely, that was the momentum shift. Other than that play, I think probably the play of the game was they're stopping the Bills on, I believe it was 4th and 1, and they elected to go with that pitch on the outside, and Steelers just blew it up and take over near midfield. So couple just, like I said, it was situational play. And I think we saw a lot of that across the league today that, Mahomes, when they're, trying to come back and the rollout and that crazy touchdown pass to Tyreek that went, 75 yards or whatever it was. Like, those are the moments you need in a football game in today's day and age to be able to pull out a victory. Granted, the Saints didn't need that. No offense, Erickson. I know it's probably a fresh wound. But I also think the Packers will be fine, though. I think, this is kind of the stuff Green Bay does. Every now and then they'll have a dud, but over the course of an entire season, they're going to be just fine.
Hey, Dan, how do you assess the Bills going forward? Does it look like maybe they're primed for a step back this season, or do you think they'll be just fine going forward?
It's hard to evaluate them because they're so talented and well coached. The biggest problem for them, I think, is going to be what, the Steelers' problem was last year. Like, they need to be able to run the football and do it consistently and more effectively. I thought that Josh Allen, I think, threw 55 times or something. I mean, you just can't – I know how great he is, but we know across the league that that's not a sustainable method to win football games. I mean, even Tom Brady's, numbers aren't spectacular with throwing over, 50 times a game. And so – when you kind of factor in those equations, you're going to be playing teams where you need to be able to control the time of possession more and sustain drives. And that's hard to do if, that's why the Steelers were successful, is because they were able to pin their ears back and just rush the passer the whole game because they knew that they weren't going to run the football.
Well,
so
luckily
that's the biggest question mark for them, I think.
Yeah, luckily they get Miami this week, who can't stop the run, and they do not have an effective pass rush. So I think they'll be just fine.
That's true. But, hey, overall, I think this is a big year for Miami, I would think, and I think you would agree, right? I mean, with the, Brian Flores and now year 3.
It's put up or shut up time.
Defense and, yeah.
Let me ask you another question, since we're going to have Overreaction Monday.
Yes. Chandler
Jones to break the single-season sack record.
He's on pace.
He's on
He
pace.
has a good chance and a head start, I would say.
They got an extra game. All he's got to do is average like 1.1 sacks per game on the way on throughout.
With J.J. Watt on the other side.
How many did you get yesterday?
5.
Holy.
Yeah, we're approaching
5,
Derek Thomas
which
territory.
only trailed Derek Thomas as for the most sacks in a Week 1 game.
Rest in peace.
Since sacks have been recorded. So that says a lot right there.
1983, William Gay of the Detroit Lions at Tampa Bay with 5.5.
No, I said he trailed only Derek Thomas, who had 6.
I know, and then William Gay had 5.5.
No, you're right. Yeah, William Gay.
When was
a
sack a recorded stat?
It's like 1982.
Although everyone should go check out Pro Football Reference because they did an amazing thing, and they went back into all the archives, watched every game, and they provided their sack stats dating back to 1960.
Wow.
So they now have a new sack leader and a bunch of stuff like that. So, it's a really impressive work. I don't know how they were able to do it, but unfortunately the league won't recognize it, and, that's where we stand. But, yeah, interesting stuff. I would go check that out. Cause they have
who's the new sack leader? You can't leave us hanging, Dan.
have 22 years back on the sack record.
Who's the new sack leader? You can't leave us hanging, Dan.
Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't an overall. I said that poorly. It wasn't overall sack leader. It was different sack leaders for like certain franchises. So now, like, like the Steelers' all-time sack leader now is, I think, I forget who it was actually, but I know that they have at least 4 or 5 franchises that have different sack leaders now. So, yeah, and single-season sack leaders too. So there's like a bunch of different records they have there. Really interesting stuff. So yeah, I would definitely check that out.
I know.
But yeah, Chandler Jones on pace for what, like 75, 80 this year?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I think he gets it.
Sure.
I think he gets it.
Yeah, and Aaron Donald will still win Defensive Player of the Year.
Sure. Yeah, of course. I know he was already gone by the time he got to Carolina, but there's always going to be the hangover of Cam Newton around the area with that team. Now, that being said, you got Riverboat Ron, the former head coach there. The Washington Redskins might need a quarterback, considering they just announced today that Tyler Heineke will be starting for them because of the hip from Ryan Fitztragic. What do you think about if you're the Washington football team? Are you calling Cam Newton?
I don't think they're going to. If I was, yes, I probably would. I think it would give them the best chance to win with the roster they have now. But I could understand them wanting to try out Taylor Heineke for a full season. I mean, he played very well in that playoff game, but that was a small sample size. So I would, but I don't think they do. I'm not sure if Ron Rivera wants to go back, in time 5 years to having the same quarterback again. I know there's familiarity there, but I think, they had opportunities to get depth, even when he took over the job and they, elected to go a different route and try and work with what they had. I think that's going to be Rivera's kind of mindset is, trying to do it with different quarterback. He had his opportunity in Carolina and they had their run. And I think he wants to do his own thing with a separate thing there in Washington. But I agree. I think it'd be a best option for them because he's, in my opinion, a much better fit long-term than, a backup or a third-string quarterback.
Yeah, well, the thing is they have no choice but to go with Taylor, the Heineke, because they play on Thursday night this week. So
right, exactly.
In a divisional game, so they have to do that. What's new out there?
Not much, Still not in need of a winter jacket, so that's always nice.
That's good.
But yeah, no, not much new. Obviously, we're in the backyard of Clemson, and they they had a disappointing start to the college football season. But fans still pumped out here, South Carolina as well. So just a lot of stuff now. We're full blast into the football season, both high school, college, and NFL now. And interestingly enough, Presbyterian College is not far from where we're at, and the new head coach is the never punt coach that people may know, Kevin Kelly from a high school in Arkansas who never punted.
Yep.
He's now Presbyterian head coach, and first game, their quarterback sets the FCS record for touchdowns in the game with 10. Follows it up with 5 touchdowns this past week. So, yeah, they're looking pretty good so far, and that's kind of a cool storyline. So I'm going to be going out there tomorrow, or Wednesday, I should say, to do a story on them. So
I don't know why he had a moment of weakness against that team from the NCCAA. When I say it, I'm not stuttering. The team they played from the National Catholic College Athletic Association.
Yeah.
And he had a moment of weak. Maybe that's because where they're from. He's like, all right, I can't do this because God's watching. So he stopped kicking onsides in the second half. So, or else he probably would have won by like 3 more touchdowns or anything like that. But yes, yeah.
They already broke a bunch of program records in that game, including points in a game. I think they finished with 84. So
you're gonna go interview him?
More like a basketball school.
Yeah, you're gonna go interview him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go talk with him and the quarterback on Wednesday, so that'll be fun. He seems like a very interesting character and a cool, down to earth guy. So I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Now, if I'm correct, the quarterback played for him in high school, right?
So the quarterback's brother played for him in high school.
Okay.
The quarterback was he kind of mentored him. He didn't play directly for him, but since he coached his brother, he mentored him. He was a little bit younger at the time, and then went to Michigan as a walk-on, and then transferred once Kevin Kelly got the job at PC. So kind of a cool rapport there. And, yeah, it's a college that hasn't won a lot recently. And so, you know, they kind of bring him in to turn it around. If he continues on this pace, it may be a one and done for Kevin Kelly. He may get a job at a much bigger school or even a Power 5. So we'll see kind of how things shake out. But, yeah, so far so good.
Is he? I mean, it reminds me a lot of Rich Rodriguez or type of thing. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But, yeah, so the Clemson stumble. Yeah, I don't know. I don't, you know, it must be tough when you're not, you know, number 5 in the country.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's it's just the way it is, I guess.
Did you pick the number 5 specifically for a reason? I'm curious.
No. I just know that it's nice. You know, it's one of those things. It's just nice to kind of have. That's all. If you want to be, you want to be. You don't want to have the target on your back. You still want to be a little hungry. So 5 seems like a good spot to be. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 5 is a good spot to be in. You know, how about them Hawkeyes?
How about them Hawkeyes? I don't know what's going on with the coaches poll and the graduate assistants that actually vote for the coaches when they do the coaches poll, but they have Clemson at 6 and they have Iowa at 7 this week. So
yeah, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, I thought, because I heard you you said 5, and I was giving a nod to that because I thought I saw somewhere like a couple days ago that Iowa got pushed to 5.
They did in the AP. They did. You're right.
Okay, that's
in the
what
AP,
it was.
they're
Yeah,
5. Clemson 6. That's where I was giving the little dig from. But now the graduate assistants somehow probably Dabo's graduate assistants probably put Iowa at like 25 and Clemson at 2,
Right.
and so that's why they got a little push there. But
yeah.
I say
Yeah,
that
there you
in
go.
jest because they have 114 more points than Iowa does in the coaches poll, so it can't be just one graduate assistant out there in your neck of the woods. So, well, Vasco, thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah, always fun to chat with you guys. I'm sure we'll get to do this more often this football season. Looking forward to it. We can get an extra week, as you mentioned. So
Yeah, we'll
cool
touch
stuff.
base with you again. Plug the podcast that you do.
Oh, yeah. So friend of mine who does radio in Quincy, Illinois, right in your guys' backyard, so to speak. And we have a show called The Football Lounge. We're on YouTube, and we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the streaming sites of your choice. So, yeah, give us a listen. We do new episodes every week. We'll have our week 1 recap tomorrow, and just kind of do recaps and previews throughout the NFL season. So, yeah, if you're looking for more, you know, football talk, then definitely give us a look. We're on Twitter at FB Lounge Pod, and then, like I said, you can check us out on YouTube as well. But the algorithms on YouTube are kind of weird, so you're probably better off searching our social media feeds and getting the YouTube link from there. But yeah, it's going to be a fun season. We had a full packed off season. We actually we drafted an entire team of U.S. presidents. So Abraham Lincoln was our head coach. I'll give that spoiler.
Okay.
And but so definitely check that out. That was a few weeks ago. It was a lot of fun. We did it with a couple buddies of ours. One who is a diehard fan of like U.S. history and presidents. So a fun one. Check that one out. That was a blast.
Right on. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in.
Definitely. Have a good one, guys.
Yep,
Later,
talk to you soon.
Vasco.
Yep. See you, buddy. All right, that's Dan Vasco. You know him from WHBF Sports. He's out in Carolina now. You know, moving on to bigger and better things. Like he said, he hasn't had to buy a winter coat yet, so he's on his second fall there. So he left sometime during the pandemic, and he's always good to talk to. Let's keep recapping yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about Monday Night Football, but we do have to take a break here at ESPN 1170 AM. Don't hassle us for local.
We're going streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody!
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah! You like that? You like that?
This is Lobo from Lobo Salsa. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
From lines of credit in Chicagoland to equipment finance loans in the Quad Cities to better cash flow in Milwaukee, First Midwest Bank is committed to using our local knowledge and ideas to help our clients get their business momentum back. Visit firstmidwest.com/commercial-lending. You have plans, we have ideas. First Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
There is no shame in admitting you need help. Doing something about it is what most men find difficult. At Limitless Male Medical, we understand your uncertainty. We hear this every day. Whether it's low testosterone or erectile dysfunction, our compassionate team of experienced practitioners will diagnose and treat your symptoms. Limitless Male will explain your options so you can get your life back. Schedule your complimentary consult at limitlessmale.com. Insurance accepted.
Update your exterior doors with 11% off everything at Menards. Secure your home with complementing finishes and styles from Schlage lock sets. Conveniently lock and unlock your home from anywhere with the Schlage Encode Smart Wi-Fi Deadbolt. All Schlage lock sets and deadbolts are 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through September 18th. Savings or mail-in rebates. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Your golf clubs are in the cart, and you're ready to play the finest public golf course in the Quad Cities. Bettendorf's Palmer Hills Golf Course is ready for fall golf. Summer is behind us. Enjoy the changing leaves, crisp fall air, and lush green grass that make your golf game more enjoyable. Many golfers believe that fall is the best time of the year to play golf. Palmer Hills Golf Course and the Fords Putting Course are waiting for your tee time today. Call 332-8296 for a tee time or visit palmerhillsgolf.com, the app or Facebook for special fall rates.
When you're ready to buy something, the first thing you do is go online. But buying a home is different. You've got loan applications, pre-approvals, competing offers, the list goes on. That's where a Realtor comes in. Realtors have expertise and local knowledge to give you a competitive edge that a search bar just can't. And in today's market, an edge is what you need. So when you're ready to buy a home, the first thing to do is make sure you have an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This is Renee.
Happy to be here.
She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
I'm Chris Rose with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Aaron Rodgers was picked off twice in a blowout loss to the Saints. Jameis Winston threw for 5 touchdowns, helping New Orleans to a 38-3 win over the Pack. After the game, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reported that the Saints and Marshawn Lattimore, their fine cornerback, agreed to a 5-year, $97.6 million extension with $66 million guaranteed. Patrick Mahomes threw for 337 yards and 3 scores in a 33-29 win against the Browns. Tyreek Hill had 11 snags for 197 yards, including a 75-yard score for the reigning AFC champs. The Steelers held Josh Allen to under 300 yards passing thanks to a pair of sacks from the highest-paid defensive player in the NFL, T.J. Watt. Steelers beat the Bills 23-16. And the rookies, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones, all lost in their debuts. The Jets and Patriots square off at MetLife Stadium next Sunday. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Warmer colors, cooler temperatures. The season is just getting started, and Lowe's has everything you need to keep the fall gatherings going. Like getting cozy around gas fire pits, everyday low prices starting at $249, and keeping things tidy with Ego blowers as low as $179. There's still more to fall for at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Valid 9/9 through 9/15, U.S. only.
Did you know the arrow in Amazon's logo represents A to Z? Maybe the My Computer Career logo should represent unemployed to employed. Ryan was out of work when he started classes in March. In September, he started his IT career working for Amazon, making more money than he ever thought possible. Here's a prime opportunity. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
From the Vegas Gaming Cafe, this is the Quad City sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBLB Davenport, a Town Square media station.
I gotta continue this conversation that we had off the air. Erickson pointed out that at game day when Ashton Kutcher, the kid from Clear Creek, Amana, that they say he's from Cedar Rapids, that was a science major or whatever.
That
else at
70s
Iowa.
show.
Yeah, that 70s show when he got discovered at a bar, I believe the Airliner. He was on game day, and they were chanting, what, Erickson?
Take a shower.
Take a shower. I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention. I was like in and out of softball diamonds when I got to see this. We got done just in time before kickoff, so I didn't do a lot of this. And then you're telling me, Merrick, that him and his wife Mila.
Yeah, they
Kunis,
came out in the press like they were doing an interview, and I don't think the interview was about cleanliness or hygiene or anything, but they volunteered the information that they only bathe or shower their children when there's visible dirt on them. And they said they do the same for themselves. They don't shower every day. They only shower when they feel that they smell bad.
Okay.
And there was a lot of backlash from the general public, but a lot of other celebrities said the same thing. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, same deal. He's like, oh, yeah, I only shower if I feel like I smell bad, or like if I got dirty that day on, I think he rides his bike a lot. Maybe he rode through a puddle or something. But, yeah, they said they don't shower every day.
I don't know if she just birthed like 23-year-old adults or something like that, but you've got 2 kids, I've got 2 kids, you've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
They're dirty.
Yeah, I shower or bathe my kids every other day. In the summer, it becomes a little more frequent if, I notice them smelling bad. But it's never more than a day where they go without a shower. You know what I mean? Like you got kids, man, they stink. And, they're at their age that they can clean themselves now.
Yeah.
So they're not really doing the best of jobs. So it's like, yeah, I mean, you got to get on in there. But, like, I know me personally, I shower every single day because I can smell myself. Like, I know when I don't shower.
I just feel gross if I
And
don't even.
these people are celebrities. They, like, work out
for the
and stuff.
environment
Like,
and stuff like
but that's
that.
what I mean. Like, they have personal trainers, and it's part of their job to stay fit and in shape. So they're working out like every day, and they just come home, they take a little whiff, and they're like, "I'm good," and then they hop into bed and get their sheets and stuff all stanky.
No, so I took speaking of the showering or whatever else, like hygiene just in general. I took a carload of 6th grade girls to the football game, the Bettner football game on Friday night. And I know what I was like in 6th grade and everything, and what it's like. I'm born and raised in Bettendorf, played on the hill in elementary, sat in the stands, chased girls around, and I said to them, so what's I'm out goofing around, I don't really care, but I'm just like, hey girls, who's the boys that you guys are going to be chasing, just trying to be that goofy dad or whatever else, and they're all like, gross, and I was like, haha, yeah, and then they just give up information like, no, the boys all stink, they don't shower. And then they start saying like one boy just like keeps covering himself with really bad cologne.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is
he's
terrible.
got the axe bath.
Probably. I'm like, someone's got to tell him to take a shower, and they're like, it's awful. They all stink.
Well, that's a pivotal time in a young man's life. His body is changing.
I understand that. That's why the parents need to be like, hey,
exactly.
take a shower.
My 5-year-old, he's had stinky armpits since the day he was born.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I feel bad for him because he's going to be that kid in 6th grade where the girls are like, oh, he's cute, but he smells like garbage. And so, I legit put deodorant on my 5-year-old. I don't know. Don't come at me, crazy internet parents right now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but sometimes he just stinks and he needs some deodorant. So I put it on him.
Good for you.
I think they should hand it out at school for these kids. Because they just don't know.
Like a little gift basket.
Yeah.
Like a hygiene basket.
Don't they have like health class or somebody just kind of give a little talk and be like, and here's a little starter kit for you.
Yeah, you got a little body wash, a little loofah, maybe some Q-tips.
Does Gillette still send the thing like when you turn 18, like a razor in the mail? I got one when I was like 18 out of nowhere. There was like, I think you had after you registered for the draft.
I just got a letter. Yeah, that said I had to register for the draft.
And I did that, and then they sent me a razor, and I was like, what? All right. I don't even think I had facial hair when I was 18. Who knows? Now look at me.
I think Manscaped should get on that.
They should do something. I don't know. All right. Well, we'll go back to that. I just thought that was interesting that he does not shower, and he unless
doesn't
he
shower
sees dirt,
frequently
unless he sees dirt. So whatever. All right. We talked about your Dolphins.
Yeah, we can keep talking about them if you want.
Briefly, quick about the Packers. The Minnesota Vikings go to Cincinnati and lose in overtime.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, he looked good. The talk leading up to that game was all about how he was making excuses for his drops and how the ball was different and he couldn't see it because there weren't stripes on it, and people were lighting him up for that. And then he goes out there and he catches a touchdown. He had over 100 yards receiving. Looked like a first-round draft pick to me.
Well, the one thing I got out of it is I watched at the end of the game. I wanted to see some of the stats of Joe Burrow. And then I see an interview of Joe. And my first thing I said to a friend was, why does Joe Burrow look like Jim Carrey and Me, Myself, and Irene? And legitimately, it's just because the way his helmet was on when he had it off. You remember Jim Carrey, Me, Myself, and Irene, where he has the split personalities?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the one guy, he got the hair and it's kind of straight. It's a flat top, and he's got these like weird veneer teeth and or whatever else. Like, he looks like that character.
I mean, he often gets
complete turnoff.
Grown up Macaulay Culkin. Like he
does have that too.
Like the Home Alone kid grown up. Like because actually Macaulay Culkin did not age well.
No.
I like cigar smoking Joe Burrow.
I like
the
that.
best.
Yeah, smoking Joe is the best. Yeah, I like that too. He was 20-27, 261 yards. The Bengals won with a kick from Evan McPherson, rookie kicker. And fun fact: the Bengals have never scored a touchdown in overtime. Never ever.
Wow. Crazy.
The Vikings had just like way too many penalties. So, congratulations, you lost to the Burrows. On the road, I understand it's on the road. It's not easy to win on the road in the NFL, but Mike Zimmer, that hot seat's getting a little bit warmer, and that makes me excited.
Yes.
We talked about the Chiefs and the Browns.
Hey, I got to point out that I was the only person on this show that predicted the Browns to upset, and they almost did. It was
took
looking
the points in that.
It was, but I took a money line. I said they will win this game, and I was close.
They played
I was
really
wrong,
well,
and I lost. But I just want to tell you, I almost won. It's like a half toot, a little toot. Not two toots, like one toot, just one toot.
Broncos go to New York and win on the road, 27-13.
I think that was an easy one to call, in my opinion.
Yeah, there was a time though that I was like, maybe the Giants can win this division.
I just think that Broncos defense is very formidable.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great secondary, and the Giants are in a tailspin. They don't know where. They have no direction. They don't know what they're doing. Daniel Jones will not be the quarterback of that team next year. I guarantee it.
I think that's a fair assessment. One of those two is not coming back, Joe Judge or Daniel.
Yeah,
Jones.
I wouldn't be surprised if neither of them came back, to be honest.
There's got to be some problems out in Washington, D.C., by the way, because that's supposed to be a really good football team, and for not really good defensive football team. The Chargers were 14 of 19 on third downs.
Yeah.
They won the game 20-16.
Yeah, they didn't give up a ton of points.
You can't 14 to 19 third down though.
Yeah, that certainly was the storyline of that game. That did him in. 20 points to a high-powered offense isn't the worst. You wonder how different it would have been if Fitzpatrick wouldn't have gone down. But I like Heineke. I think he's a solid backup, and he gives the team a little bit of a spark. I have a couple football team players on my fantasy team, and I'm not worried about the switch.
I like the football team players when referring to them.
I wanted to say the other one so bad.
Arthur Smith and the Falcons. Nick
Woof.
Sirianni comes into town with the Eagles.
Woof. Just I watched a lot of that game. I really did, and
you mentioned that in Mike Davis day.
I felt dirty watching it. I was like, there are so many football games on right now. Why am I watching this crappy game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a good showing by them, and their fans were letting them have it as they should have. You got a lot of offensive weapons, and you scored 6 points.
Yeah.
Is Hurts the real deal? I mean, you think he's going to be top 10 quarterback this year?
No. Maybe top 10 fantasy quarterback, not top 10 real life quarterback.
27 of 35, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I think they had a great game plan against that defense, and I think that's a particularly poor defense. I mentioned it on air last week. I also mentioned it in an article I wrote, I believe. But they have 4 new safeties in Atlanta. 2 of them are rookies, and the other 2 are not particularly good players anyway. So I did expect a good game from Hurts, and I expected a good game from Devontae Smith. So it wasn't a super surprising outcome, at least from the Eagles' offensive side of the ball, but I was surprised that the Falcons did not hold up their end of the bargain. I took the over in that game, and that was a clear loss for me on that one.
I actually took the under in that game. Kyle Pitts was tied for the team lead for targets for Atlanta, but he only caught 4 of 8 balls.
What was the yardage?
31 yards.
Yeah,
his longest was
not enough.
18. That's the longest reception on the team, though. Ridley had a 16-yard reception.
Ridley caught 3 balls on the opening drive and then caught like 2 more balls.
That's exactly it. He had 8 targets and he caught 5 altogether. He's 5 for 51 with 16.
And 3 of those catches were on the opening drive, and it was like, all right, here we go. The Falcons know where their offense goes through, and it clearly does. It goes through Ridley, it goes through Pitts, and they did not. They got away from that. They tried to run the ball too many times. Mike Davis is a solid player, but he's not going to lead your team to victory, especially when your defense is that poor. You have to know when to start throwing the ball. You can't just commit to running the football into a brick wall every play and hope that, okay, suddenly this is going to start paying off. They were down at, I think, 22-6 late in the third quarter, and they're still running the football with 30 seconds left. And it's like, what are you doing? Throw the ball. That's what your offense is built to do. Throw the ball.
Let's see here. Pretty much covered that. We have the Monday Night Football game tonight. Let's talk a little bit about the things that we might be able to control, and that is our fantasy teams. Are you at all interested in, if you are, would you go out and trade for Josh Allen right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you offer them 85 cents on the dollar?
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, I think he's going to have a bounce-back game, and you better buy now if you're going to buy, because I really think I'm a Dolphins fan. I watched them play a good game and win week 1. I think they're going to lose by multiple scores to the Buffalo Bills, even though the game's in Miami this weekend. I think the way the Bills win is the way the Dolphins lose.
Okay.
Because the Steelers got pressure with their front 4, and Miami couldn't do that to the Patriots at all in week 1. So if you're sending extra blitzers, they better get there, but Allen can wiggle out of that pocket pretty well, and he's going to find those receivers in the middle of the field. I don't think it's going to be close. I hope I'm wrong.
Okay. I wonder if you're going to if it's worth going out there to see if a Josh Allen owner is panicking.
Yeah, here's another owner who may be panicking, an Aaron Rodgers owner. Go get him.
Mm-hmm.
Especially against Detroit next week.
Yeah, go get. And I mean, you probably won't be able to get him, but you never know. You gotta make the offers. You never know what you can get until you ask for it.
Vegas doesn't agree with you, according to the line on the Dolphins and the Bills here.
I think it's Bills 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it's a close game.
Yeah, I hope that'd be great. And the game is in Miami, so that does help. But I could see something like a 31-20 Buffalo victory.
Are you going to go out and try to pick up Elijah Mitchell from the 49ers?
I'm not.
Why not?
I think Shanahan is not ready or willing to commit to any one player right now.
Okay.
I think Trey Sermon was being him being inactive was more of a message they were trying to send to him. And I think eventually he'll be all right. We don't know the extent of Mostert's injury yet, do we?
No. Hold on. I have something up right here. Let's see if they've got any news on him.
You know how, like, in years past, there was the old adage that you can't trust any Patriots running back?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the 49ers running game. They will have someone have a great game. They always do. Somebody's going to have a great game, but you don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, status is still questionable, but nothing from yesterday. Obviously, he was taken out of the game.
So I'm not trying to spend big bucks on Mitchell.
What about Mark Ingram in Houston?
Maybe. How many games are they going to be able to run the ball that much?
Yeah.
Not a lot. He's a decent receiver, so maybe he catches some dump-off passes in garbage time. But who knows? I would assume that they're going to lean on Philip Lindsay for the receiving role.
Who was the guy from, not to bring up your game or whatever else, there was a guy from the Saints. Who was the tight end? Johnson? That had a pretty good game? Let's see here. I'm pretty sure it's the tight end Johnson. If he's a former... that's not much. He had 3 targets, 3 receptions for 21 yards. But he's a former wide receiver that they moved to... Oh, he had 2 touchdowns, though. There he is. So in the red zone, obviously, Juwan Johnson. 2 touchdowns, 3 targets. He's from its second season out of Oregon.
I think that's a classic week 1 spot where that's the best game of his career.
Okay.
Who was the receiver for Dallas a few years back? Ogletree, was it?
Yeah.
He blew up in prime time, had 2 touchdowns, 2 or 3 touchdowns, scored 40-plus points. Everyone went nuts and picked him up after week 1, and he may have had 5 catches the rest of the season.
If you're looking back on it in his 2-year career, he only had a total of those are his 2 first touchdowns. The crazy thing about on ESPN, and come on ESPN, get it together. They have projected here, and they just took it all and times it by 16 more games. I'm dead serious. He's on pace to have 32 touchdowns.
Wow.
Is what they just did. They're like, here's projected. That's not how you do projected.
I believe that'd be a record.
That's not how you do projected.
No.
Like, it's like, come on. That's not right to do. It's, all right, whatever. But is there anybody else out there?
There's so many players.
Christian Kirk?
Who
only 12% owned? He had 19 points yesterday.
Nah, he's another one of those guys that every 4 or 5 weeks he'll give you a good game, but it's too hard to predict when it's going to be.
A lot of mouths to feed there in that receiving core.
Yep. What was A.J. Green's stat line? Does anyone know that?
Actually, that was a pickup that DFS that I can pull it up in a second, but that was the one that people were like, hey, you should look at if you can get a cheap pick out of A.J. Green here. A.J. Green, 6 targets, only 2 catches for 25 yards. So that's not good.
No, not great.
See, Kirk was 5 of 5 or 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins had 8 targets. They chucked the ball quite a bit.
You know, if Kirk takes over the number 2 job ahead of A.J. Green, which is certainly possible at Green's age, then yeah, there's value there in that offense.
Let's see here. Who else? What was I looking at? I was looking for someone from the Colts. Probably receiving.
Pascal?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a touchdown.
Okay. So he had 5 targets, 4 catches, 43 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Oh, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Michael Pittman's the receiver to own there. He didn't have a great week 1, but I don't think you're panicking yet.
4 targets, 3 receptions for Pittman Jr. A lot out of the backfield there. Taylor had 7 targets, 6 catches. Hines had 8 targets, 6 catches.
That's kind of Wentz's MO. He did that a lot in Philadelphia with Miles Sanders, so he likes to check down. Hines, did you see him get the new contract over the weekend?
No, I did not.
He's one of the top 10 highest paid running backs in the NFL now, which is weird when they just drafted Jonathan Taylor. And he had a great rookie year.
Yeah, he did. And he had over 100 yards, Taylor did, and combined, receiving and rushing.
I just thought that was an odd contract to give to somebody like Nyheim Hines.
And how many years?
For a backup running back.
How many more years?
I'm not 100% positive on the length of the contract. I just know that the average per year makes him a top 10 paid running back in the league.
That's a lot for a backup and
a pass catching specialist, really.
And it's got to be for what, 3 or maybe 4? This is the 4th year. They added a 3rd year. Are they just protecting? Are they handcuffing Taylor?
Maybe.
Is it they're in his rookie contract? They're like, well, we're not paying you right now.
Might as well pay somebody else.
So after year 3, when you want to renegotiate or whatever and do an extension,
who knows?
But instead, we're just going to pay a lot for your handcuff. That's where you have money left over at the auction table, and you really want your handcuff to work.
They have a good front office, so you don't want to question them too much. But it just felt odd to me.
They have Mac too. They have a deep running back stable there.
Well, yeah. Carson Wentz, he had 4 carries for 23 yards. Maybe he doesn't want to do that. Maybe he can just.
I'll give you another one
throw the ball away
to go find right now. Bears fans, maybe somebody in your league, if they're not a Bears fan themselves, try to find yourself some Allen Robinson shares.
Okay.
Because eventually they're going to play a defense that isn't as good as the Rams defense, who is very good. They're very good. And Justin Fields is going to become your quarterback at some point. He's going to be able to evade that rush like we were talking about earlier. He's going to be able to extend plays, and Allen Robinson, one of the best receivers in the league, had an off week 1. You might be able to buy him on the cheap right now.
I think we're overlooking Montgomery here, though.
He had a great game.
He had over 100 yards rushing. The Rams did not give up a single 100-yard rusher all last year.
Oh, he had a great game. He had a couple long carries. Helped him out there.
Yeah, he had the 41-yarder. The thing is, I'm just wondering, like, to your point, if Montgomery can still have breakout games or whatever else, is that going to open up to Robinson even more?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Robinson's a buy low candidate after week 1, but there's plenty of those guys right now.
Ooh, 11 targets, only 6 catches for Robinson.
Exactly. But those targets are that's the most important stat right there. He got 11 targets. Now you give him, again, somebody who can extend the play, Justin Fields. Robinson will, be able to create some separation there, find himself in an open zone, and Fields will get the ball to him. I'm buying Robinson right now if you can get him on the cheap, if somebody's willing to sell. But we're in the Midwest. We're in the Bears territory, so it may be just check in. If the owner of Allen Robinson in your league is not a Bears fan, you might be able to get him. Maybe. Check in on Calvin Ridley. He was a high pick, second-round pick most likely. He had, in a PPR format, he had roughly 10 points, 10.5 points. If somebody took a close look at that game and they saw how much the Falcons ran the ball, maybe they're a little nervous. Maybe they're willing to sell off Ridley for pennies on the dollar, or maybe 75 cents on the dollar. But still, these are the moves that you can make now, Overreaction Monday, week 1, that can set you up looking pretty for the rest of the year.
Yeah, is there anybody else that underperformed that we...
Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
If you find 56 yards.
If you find somebody who is in a panic mode about the Packers and just thinks that's going to happen, maybe you can do that.
Okay.
Maybe you had a running back who overperformed, and you can take a look at the owner in your league who had a J.K. Dobbins if your draft was before his injury, or Gus Edwards if they drafted Dobbins and then handcuffed him with Edwards. Now they're really scrambling.
I am 100%. I have a lot of shares of Tyson Williams. Yeah. And I'm really hoping for him to pull off.
And we'll see. I know they signed Latavius Murray, and there's a lot of
I got him.
There's a lot of indication that maybe Murray's going to be the guy there. I was able to snag him in my league. But my point is, if you can find the owner in your league who had Dobbins, who had Edwards, and now they're scrambling after a week 1, maybe they didn't have a proper backup. They lost by a lot of points, but you had a running back who exceeded expectations in week 1. You don't expect them to repeat. Maybe dangle that little carrot in front of the Dobbins and Edwards owner and see if they're willing to overpay for somebody who had a good week 1. You never know what you can get until you can ask.
That's right.
Maybe you need a receiver. Maybe you need a tight end. You can get a deal done. And don't be afraid to do the 2-for-1 deals either, because there's so many people on the waiver wire who had good week 1s. And if you take a look at their usage, look at their snap percentage. How many plays did they play on offense? How many targets did they have? Those are the things you need to take a look at. How many touches? That's what's going to lead you to those little gold nuggets there.
I'm going to send out some trade requests.
And I just really hope people in my league are not listening right now.
I know.
Because this has been my strategy for the past 15 years. And the people are always like, man, how do you do it? And I'm like, oh, just lucky, I guess.
Just get lucky. I don't know who else I could go out and try to go after. I will take a stab at Josh Allen here and there. But like I said, I got staff from most. The other one, the league I have Baker Mayfield, and can't remember who my other backup is. So I might just to get something, just to shake something up a little bit. But I think that's the most important thing. Pay attention to who's still out there and what's going on and who did what. Do you still feel that way about the Patriots? Kind of like the running back. Stay away from running backs there.
No, I think Damian Harris is clearly the guy. Now you got to keep an eye on this and watch the practice reports as the week goes on, and watch it's hard to garner much from Belichick in any interview, but see what he has to say about Harris going forward, because Damian Harris fumbled the game away with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter when they were on the Dolphins' 9-yard line going in for the go-ahead score. And you know how Belichick feels about running backs who fumble the ball.
Yeah, well, Stevenson did, and he benched him for the rest of the game. Yeah.
Exactly. That was my next point. What helps Harris is that Ramondre is a rookie who fumbled the ball early and gave the ball back to the Dolphins. So, I mean, at that point, I guess you could roll with James White for an entire game, which I would not put it past Belichick to do. But if you look at the touches in that backfield, Damian Harris dominated, and he also ran for, I think it was 100 yards even, if not just a little bit more than 100. So I think he's the guy to own in that backfield.
I'm assuming your majority of leagues, Jameis Winston?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to ignore 5 touchdowns, and he does play for the Saints, and he does play for Sean Payton, and I don't know, history of some good QB success there, even without Drew Brees.
I think that might be one to take a look at. It might be the
I'm actually in a league that does not penalize for interceptions. You don't get negative points for interceptions, so if you're in that league, jump on it.
Heck yeah.
But the red flag there is it's only 148 yards.
But 5 touchdowns.
I understand that, but if they're only going to attempt 20 passes a game.
I don't think that'll be the norm going forward. It's just a game script here that they didn't need to throw it that many times.
He's the fewest yards with 5 touchdown passes of all
I'm not
time.
saying empty the bank or if you have a starter, right? Everybody's got a starter. You go into the season with a starter. We haven't had too many injuries yet, unless you had Fitzpatrick as your starter. So, I mean, if you're going to drop one of your bench guys who didn't do much to pick up a backup quarterback who could be good later, and then you could use him as trade bait when one of these guys eventually gets injured, go for it. There's no harm in doing that. Just like the NFL teams churn the bottom of their roster every week, and they have a couple guys that they're willing to cut just in case somebody else gets cut, and they want to bring them in and test them out and see how they go. That's how you should treat your fantasy team. There should be you shouldn't have your bench set every week and say, well, these are my bench guys, and I hope they eventually pan out. If you get a week or two where they're not doing well and they didn't get a lot of snaps or targets or whatever, drop them. Who cares? Are you going to need, I don't know, McCole Hardman going forward? No, you're never going to trust that you can start McCole Hardman. Drop him. Let him go. Pick somebody up, and if they pan out, there you go. You found your gold nugget. If they don't, do it again next week. Eventually, you'll strike gold. Eventually.
Jameis Winston threw for 148 yards and 5 touchdowns. It's the fewest yards needed for a 5-passing touchdown game. Here's the other ones. This is all since 1950, the stats that they have. This is this Pro Football Reference?
God, I hope Steve DeBerg's on here. Jeff Hostetler.
In the year of 1962, this happened 3 times in a season.
Sonny Jorgensen.
Eddie LeBaron threw for 158 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He did that for the Cowboys. A week later, this happened within a matter of 3 weeks. First, George Blanda did 6 touchdowns for 190 yards against the New York Titans. Then a week later, Eddie LeBaron did it. Then Frank Tripucka of the Broncos against Buffalo threw for 168 yards and 5 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson has done this as well. He did this in 2019, 169 yards, 5 touchdowns. And Boomer Esiason, 197, 5 touchdowns.
Great.
Yeah, not a lot of stuff going on there. All right, Monday Night Football tonight. Ravens, Raiders. Who do you guys like?
Ravens, yeah. Yeah, I think that extra day helped them get their running back situation figured out. I think they'll know. They'll have a good plan. I think you'll see a lot of Tyson Williams with some Latavius Murray mixing in, but I would expect by next week or the week after, Murray's going to be the lead guy there.
Okay. Erickson?
Ravens, I can't trust Carr.
And no, it's looking like no Josh Jacobs.
That's a shame.
So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the reports. Don't etch it in stone yet. But if you have Jacobs in your lineup, there's not a lot you can do right now.
Remember that they've got an alternate. The Mannings will be calling the game on ESPN2. So if you don't want to, it's Greasy Levy and Lewis Reddick and the other one, the crew from last year.
Dude, Brian Greasy sucks so much.
Crew from last year.
I
So
hate
they've been bringing him in.
like
bringing him in.
his dad is a Dolphins Hall of Famer, and he led. He was a part of the perfect season. But come on now, he sucks.
So that's why they give you the alternate version of this now.
Thank God.
And then if not, you can always go on the Netflix and watch Titletown.
I don't know if we can get sued for this, but you and I should get together, Jay, and we should provide some alternate commentary for Monday Night Football. You can stream along live.
What was that? There was an app that had that for a while that you could do games or whatever else. I know Emily Van Buskirk did it. I never did that, though. What was it? Yeah, I have it here somewhere. Oh, well. Not that important if I don't. I probably even updated it in forever. Oh, well. All right. Thanks, guys. Erickson?
Yeah.
Hope you feel a little
Thank you for
better.
having me. Yeah.
Get some water in you.
Yeah. I think Rogers needs a shower because he stinks.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you go.
That's why he looks so greasy all day.
Merrick, I know you're busy during the rest of the week. Maybe Friday we'll have you back if you're free.
Yeah. Hit me up.
All right, guys. Enjoy your day. Quad Cities, stay safe and sanitized out there. Ben's got a flag football game. Line stays the same as always. Over under flags pulled is 1.5. Touchdown scored is 0.5. Bet the under. Okay. I'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Enjoy your Monday Night Football.
The Rock says he's gonna make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous. You like that? You like that? Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
This is Merrick Brave from SCW Pro, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.